All right, we got audio. We got video. We are ready to kick this off. Alrighty. Hello and happy Friday, everyone. Welcome to Staghammer Studio. I am your humble host, Wes. It is a wonderful Friday, albeit a busy one, but a good Friday nonetheless. The best of Fridays, I would argue, because this Friday marks the start of a week-long vacation for yours truly. So I am very happy and very excited about that. The best part is I have fuck all for plans. I have a wonderful weekend ahead of me. Tonight, obviously, is the stream. Tomorrow, a good friend of mine is coming over. We're going to engage in some food and some beverage and just kind of generally hang out. It's going to be nice because I haven't really had much in the way of friends over as of late, especially with the whole, plague sweeping the U.S. But that being said, I'm looking forward to that for sure. What else is on the docket coming up? Not much. And that's kind of the point. Normally this time of year, this is the weekend for the Scottish Highland Games in New Hampshire. And normally my wife and I go and attend that every year. But of course that has been canceled this year. So we are not going, and we refunded our tickets and our hotel and all that stuff, which we had booked months and months and months ago. And so that is, that freed up a whole bunch of time because we usually will go up for the weekend. I take the week after off for vacation, so that way we can chill in New Hampshire for a few extra days and just kind of generally hang out. But like I said, this whole pandemic thing kind of threw a monkey wrench in that works. So I find myself with a free week. I say that knowing full well that I'm sure that my wife will come up with some honey-do list items for me to take care of. But in the evenings, I will be free to hobby and paint. So keep an eye on the stream, folks, because I will likely be pumping out a little bit more content than usual this week, or at least that's kind of my hope and my plan. Other random, this is completely unrelated to the general theme of the stream, but I will say that I went out last night with my wife, my daughter, one of my wife's friends, and her 7-year-old son, I believe. And we went to the Jurassic Quest exhibit at Gillette Stadium. And it was basically this big drive-through course with a bunch of animatronic dinosaurs and stuff. My daughter is 2, and she is obsessed with dinosaurs. So she was super, super, super pumped. So I got a question in the chat as to what I'm working on today. So we'll jump ahead to that real quick. I set myself up with a whole string of projects for the set myself up with a whole bunch of projects for the spooky season, as I like to call it, which basically is the second I see a leaf turn anything other than green up until the end of Halloween, the end of October. So basically for the foreseeable future, all of my stream content is going to be me painting things that are suitably spooky. Except kind of for today. I convinced myself that this counts because I'm a goober and that's what I do. So I'm working on this fine guy right here, which is Mollog, the Troggoth. It's basically a troll. He's got a little frog in his hand and a big club. He's covered in mushrooms because I guess that's what happens when you're a troll that lives in caves. But yeah. So this is on tonight's painting desk. So I got it primed up and built before the show. Now this is for my Realm of Death Goblin army. and this counts as a unit for that army. And so because it is a Realm of Death themed army, that's basically why I went ahead and said that it is it's spooky enough for me. So anyway, I've been staring at this model now for probably a good 45 minutes, trying to figure out exactly how I want to paint it. And I don't know that I have a good answer for that, but we're going to try some stuff. This is going to be sort of some on-the-fly experimentation more than anything else, because I know full well that if I don't like how it comes out, I can just reprime it and we can try something else another time. That one probably won't get streamed because, you know, nobody wants to see me paint the same model, you know, 2-3 times. But anywho, so that's pretty much the plan. So without any further ado, the news is sort of, let's see, do I have any other news stuff? Random hobby stuff. So I got some stuff in recently. You can see, no, wrong shoulder. There it is. Right back here. Those of you on Instagram, ooh, well, it's out of shot. But I got some more of the Citadel Woods for cheap on eBay, an out of print terrain kit. So that I've got back there. So that makes number 3 for that particular kit that I have. My goal is 4, but the prices are so inflated because it's out of print that you know, it takes a while to kind of hunt down the ones that are reasonably priced. Anyway, so let's see. That came in. Oh, I also picked up, it's in a few pieces because it's going to be way easier to paint in sub-assemblies. So this is the bottom portion right here, and I'll show it off on Instagram first, and then we'll switch on over here. So this is the lower spirit cluster that is going to be carrying the Mortis engine, which is going to be a very large sort of unit for my my undead army. So these are all just a bunch of ghosts, and they're flying around doing stuff. And what will be sitting on top of it is what is essentially like a necromancer's pulpit. So this thing right here is not done being painted, but it's getting actually pretty close. I'm pleased with its general progress. But this sits on top, kind of like so. And there's a little necromancer that'll be sitting on top. I assume doing spooky necromancer things like raising the dead. You know, necromancer do what a necromancer do. So anyway, that came in the mail too pretty recently, and I have been working a little bit on that. Actually, I guess more than a little bit. It's got a fair amount of progress to it, so I'm pretty happy with that. Otherwise, I think that's pretty much it, which, I mean, realistically, it's not nothing. So I'm pretty happy with that for progress for the last, like, week and a half or so. So anyway, on Facebook here, I'm going to go ahead and switch down to the desk cam so that we can all see what's going on. Those of you on Instagram, sorry, you're stuck looking at my ugly mug. But we're kind of trying a little something here. So we're doing a little Instagram live while we do the stream. So we've got the cell phone set up streaming that while my computer is hopefully not crashing anymore tonight, and streaming this to Facebook Live, which it bears pointing out, or bears repeating, I should say, something that I've mentioned the last couple of streams. I'm waiting on a final piece of computer hardware, and once that rolls in, I'll be getting my computer upgraded, so hopefully no more crashing, but more importantly, with the new hardware, I will be switching the platform on which I am streaming. So I will be leaving Facebook Live, and I will be streaming, I believe I'll be doing a split stream between YouTube and Twitch. So I'll be streaming on both of those platforms. I have never streamed on Twitch, So that is going to be sort of a learning curve and a learning experience for that. But the general idea is I'm going to be separating myself from Facebook Live a little bit. I'm not super keen on the the platform, so I'm going to be switching over to YouTube and Twitch for my weekly streams. The night on which I stream will also likely change when I change venues or change platforms. I'm not sure yet exactly what that new schedule will look like, so stay tuned to Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, all that good stuff. All the for those on Facebook now, all of the information is scrolling across. But for those on Insta, just know that it's at Wes Odinson for everything. So youtube.com/Wes Odinson, and you can see all the backlog streams there. There will be some other content coming to that channel at some point. I'm kind of waiting on that new computer hardware so that I can actually do some video editing without my computer just shitting itself every time. But yeah, so that's coming sooner or later. What else? I think that's it. All right, so anyway, we got the camera down on the desk here. Again, for those of you on Instagram, my apologies, but in my bio, you can find yourself a link to my Facebook where you will also be able to find this stream. So you get the full experience. There is music. There is my beautiful face. There's the models that I am working on, which, by the way, today it is Mollog of Mollog's Mob from Underworlds. And so yeah, without any further ado, we're going to dive on into this. So as I said, I've been kind of mulling it over, staring at this model for the last like 45 minutes or so, trying to figure out exactly how I wanted to paint him. And I still don't really know. I know there's a few elements of it that I know how I want to paint them. The mushrooms on his back, I know I'm going to do in the same sort of, iridescent blue glow that I've done all the other mushrooms on the army in. So that's pretty easy to tell. And then basically I'd like to be able to find, like, the name of the game is sort of contrast at this point. So with that bright color, I want to do something probably kind of dark on the skin, or at least on the shoulders, darken it down there. And then he's got a frog in his hand, so that I'm probably going to do like a lighter color too. I know all of the moon icons are going to be like a bright, like pastel blue-green color. So again, I want those to be able to pop out from whatever is behind them. So, I think what I'm going to do is, just for argument's sake, I'm going to start with an all-over wash on the skin with just Reikland Flesh Shade, just to get some ruddiness in the skin tone, so that whatever I glaze over it will at least, I don't know, look alive. Hey, thanks, man. I appreciate the kind words. I do my best. All right. So we're going to start, like I said, with an all-over wash of just basic Reikland Flesh Shade. And this I'm going to try and keep thin on purpose. We just want to kind of tint a little bit in the recesses, but we do not want pooling. Pooling is the enemy. So we're going to be doing everything we can to try and prevent the pooling, especially on flat areas. That is that will quickly ruin the look I'm going for, that's for sure. So at this point, we're just kind of, I guess, almost treating it like a glaze, but it's a wash. So I don't know, call it what you will. I don't really know. We're definitely trying to keep it on the thin side. Keep it from pooling, but if it's getting in and sitting in the recesses, that's fine, as long as we're not getting any coffee staining or anything like that. We don't want that either. I'm not sure I picked quite the right brush for this, but it's working. It's definitely a nice big one, that's for sure. So I started off this model with just like a Zenithal Prime highlight kind of scheme. Started with a black prime and then ended up covering most of the black, quite frankly. I could have just jumped straight into the green, the gray prime, but something in my brain said, nope, gotta start with black. So that's what I did. Yeah, so I did basically the black and then an all over spray of the light gray primer, and then like a top down kind of, maybe, I don't know, 20-degree angle with white primer. Made sure to really nail the tops of everything, and then from there, once that was all dry, I brought it in, gave it an all-over wash of Nuln Oil, and just to kind of bring back some of the recesses that had gotten washed out with the white primer. And then, let's see, I did a sort of a Zenithal-based top-down dry brush of Ulthuan Gray by Citadel. And that was, I wanted cold highlights, because I figure these guys are probably in not a very well-lit environment, and not a warm environment either. So I wanted the underneath to be setting them up for a little bit of a colder vibe. We'll see if it worked. That was my thought process, at least. I don't know if we succeeded, but we'll see it when we're done, and you can be the judge. All right, I think we have most of the upper torso done. We'll get his little butt cheeks. Once I'm done with this step, we'll hold them up so that Instagram can see what's going on, because I know this is you're just staring at my dumb head staring down right now. But yep. So this is going to be our first little step here. Where we go from this, I'm not, like I said, I'm not entirely sure. And I think I might try to bring... I was thinking about, once it's done, I might take like a purple ink. I've got some, what is it, Army Painter's purple tone. And I might take that through the airbrush and just shoot it up from underneath to like get the you know, like an anti-zenithal sort of shadow effect going on, so it's like a universal shadow color. Again, we'll see if that's the route I take or not, but that was my initial sort of concept for it. And Yeah. All right. So we're going to let this dry for a little bit. For those on Instagram, bang. That's what we're dealing with right now. Just one quick wash over all the skin. So fortunately, it seems to be drying fairly quickly. While it's in the middle of drying, I'm actually going to crack into the Caribird Crimson Shade from Citadel. And we're going to... He's got a little bit on his back that is like a... If I hold it like this, you can see on Facebook there, just this cracked section here. So we're going to put a fair amount of water into our brush here, and we're going to grab just a little smidge of that red, and we're going to just kind of stipple that on around the cracked area. Maybe a little bit more of that red in there. Just so it looks a little, I don't know, irritated. And this will kind of blend it in with the flesh color too, a little bit. Hello to those on Facebook Live. All right. So that's off to a pretty decent start. I kind of like the direction of the earthy tones that this guy's taking. What if we try... some of this? Seraphim Sepia. What if we try jacking this into... So this is it's a sepia tone, so it's like a brownish, I don't know, kind of a yellowy brown, I guess. I'm just going to kind of poke this in up on the higher parts of his back, across his shoulders. Again, kind of blending it in with some of the red that we already kind of put in. Let all the colors kind of mingle. I'll even throw some more red in that probably in a little bit, just to kind of reinforce that, because it was a little on the lighter side. Ooh. So I just gave my brush a quick rinse, and I am just kind of dippling and dabbing at the edges of that sepia tone that I've just put down, just in an effort to kind of blend it out a little bit. Just so I don't have any like harsh lines or anything like that. That looks pretty good. Alright, he needs to sit and dry for a little bit is what he needs to do. Alright, I'm gonna take a swig of coffee. Because that is important. Alright, in the meantime, so I mixed up in the not too long ago, when I started base coating some of my Nighthaunt, I mixed up some Lamian Medium and what is it? Nihilic Oxide. That's it. Roughly like a 60-40 mix of Lamian Medium to Nihilic Oxide. And so this is what I base coat most of my Nighthaunt in, and I wanted to use the same color on these mushrooms. I have used this basic color on most of the mushrooms I've done for this army so far. They're the ghost cap mushrooms, I'm calling them. That sounds like it might even be a real kind of mushroom, but frankly I don't know. Nor am I particularly keen on looking it up, but I'm just going to kind of wash this around on top of these guys. Now we'll see if I like this. I might end up putting a thicker coat or another coat over the top just to kind of push it more in this direction. The idea is I kind of want these to be like glowing mushrooms, so we're gonna kind of try and push for that a little bit. But you know, we'll see. That's where we're at right now. Got a little blue and some browny colors going on. Now the question is, what color do we want to make the frog? I don't know.
Too bad you're not double jointed. Because if you were, you'd be able to bend over and kiss your ass goodbye.
I mean, green is the obvious choice for the frog, and I'm not sure I hate that idea. He does kind of look like he should be some kind of green. So we're gonna go green. So I'm gonna break out the Buelltan green, and we're gonna use that. So this is the brighter green wash from Citadel. I'm heavily using Citadel washes on this, and I'm not necessarily even ashamed of that. I like the way it's been turning out so far. I've been using this on some of the zombies and stuff I've been working on lately. And I actually just did a Maw Crusher. And I did this type of thing on the orc that was riding on top, and rather liked the way it came out, so we're just going to kind of keep on keeping on. Am I even vaguely in frame here? I think so. So we'll do a couple of coats of this. I've got some Waywatcher green I'm going to glaze on, and then Like in the sort of highlight areas, I've got some Lamenter's Yellow, I think. The yellow, the old GW yellow glaze. So we're going to slap that on too, and really kind of pop some of those highlights out with the yellow. This is one ugly frog. Tell you what. Not that the troll is any better, but oh boy. As my dad would say, it's a face only a mother could love. I don't know why I made my dad sound southern. That's definitely a saying he used to come out with all the time. Yeah, this is not a happy looking frog. He's kind of got a real unhappy air about him. But he was just caught by a troll who is likely going to eat him. Chances are he's having a real shit day. He did not wake up in the morning thinking that this was how things were going to go down. That's for sure. He was like, hey, this is a nice cave. We're going to hop around. We're going to eat some bugs. Maybe take a nap. See if we can find a mate. Somebody with whom I can help procreate the species. Maybe look for some more bugs. And then we're going to call it a night. I think that sounds like fun. And he goes hop, hop, hopping along, and all of a sudden, bang! Out of nowhere, this big ugly dude just sweeps in, scoops him up, and tries to eat him. I don't know about you, I wouldn't be having a good day with that. Alright, that's good. Looking like a frog, kinda. We're gonna just nail that frog's eyeballs. A little bit of this light yellow. Why does this eye not want to turn yellow? Maybe there's some green. Yeah, I think it's still wet with green. Alright. We'll let it dry a little bit. We'll come back to it. Okay, okay. What can we work on in the meantime? It's away. Close it up. Alright, we're gonna grab a little Null Oil, little black wash here. We're gonna get, he's got like a little kind of belt thing going on. So we're gonna just grab that. With a couple coats of this. front side. Okay. That'll do for now. All right, now we've got this like kind of loincloth thing. That needs some color on it. Yep, that needs some color on it. What are we gonna do? What are we gonna do? I don't know. Let's think about that. I don't know. While we're thinking about that, let's take a little bit more of that red wash, and we're gonna just kind of jam this back up in this area here, around that cracked area on his skin. Kind of stipple that in, and we're gonna rinse our brush, and then we're just gonna kind of stipple at the edges. Blend it out a little. Okay, all right. What else do we need here? What do we think about... I don't know, what do we think about maybe some... I feel like I'm bringing too many colors into this, but... What do we think about some purple? Maybe... Oh, let's see. What can we do here? Yeah, why not? Let's do, let's do a little mix of... Oh, you know what? Okay. We're gonna get weird, folks. We're gonna get weird here for a second. Okay, so we're gonna use this Coelia green shade. It's like a teal, like a dark teal wash. We're gonna use this. And we're gonna hit the edge of the cloth, or the loincloth. I say loincloth, it's an animal skin. Let's be real about what this is. It's a pelt of some kind. But I'm gonna say it's a weird thing with like teal skin and then like purple fur. Because that's just what I'm feeling. So we're gonna get the teal there. We're gonna hit the back side with some teal. Alright, that'll have to do for now. And let that dry. We'll reinforce it with another coat later on. Meanwhile, we'll grab the purple. And we're going to hit the fur portion with the purple. Now, I fully admit that I have absolutely no idea what kind of animal this might have been. At one point. Whatever it was, it is not that anymore. All right. So we're gonna take our Seraphim Sepia again. Actually, no. We're gonna take an even darker brown. We're gonna go Agrax Earthshade. And this we are going to. This is like a. I don't know. An even browner brown. I don't know how else to. We're gonna dab this up under the mushrooms. Leaving some of the Seraphim Sepia that we did sort of visible, but we're doing the sort of upper crusty bits of the shoulder here with this color. I like that. That's good. Good Lord. Some of these little, like, it looks like it's dry, but it's like a little pocket of wash that's just not quite dry. So you nail it with your brush and you just lift up like a little patch of paint. Because I'm trying to rush through this is what it is. I realize that I'm sort of painting with washes here, and it can be a little tedious with the dry times and stuff, and I am being impatient because I'm streaming. And so it's coming out like poo-poo. Alright. We're gonna go... See, if you can get it while all the washes are perfectly wet still, then it's not really a problem, because you just basically wet blend all the colors together. Which is sort of what I'm going for here. Reinforcing some of that sepia on the edges, blending from the drop some sepia on the little toppy top of his head here. Alright. So, we did that. Now, we're going to go back to our red here. And we're going to do a couple little spots with the red. We're going to get his nose. Big honking nose that he's got. I'm going to get his lower lip. And then tighten up that brush a little bit. And then we're going to go get the inside of his ear. All right, not bad. And what looks like I got my red on the outside of his ear, which is where I did not want it. Try and lift some off. Using a wet brush, trying to just scrub at it a little bit, hopefully not lift off anything else underneath it. guess that'll have to do. Sepia again, and just kind of drop a little bit. Noticing the spot that should have it but does not. All right, I like where we're headed with this. Okay, I'm gonna grab the. So I did one thick coat, maybe two thin coats of the Biltan green on this frog. So now we're gonna try and kind of zap this into the color that we want, like a nice bright green. So we're grabbing our Waywatcher green glaze. The Biltan looks dry, so we're gonna come in and we're gonna glaze this over the top. These little froggy fingers and legs and toes. Okay, his little cheek. Backs of his legs. Zappy zap zap. Back of his arm. Top of his head. Cool. That definitely brightened him up a little. Do a little bit of that around. Pull some out of the recesses. Looks good to me. The frog. Ribbit. It's like, I imagine him holding the frog kind of like Moana holds the... No, not Moana. Maui. In Moana, Maui holds the chicken, and he's like, boat snack! Like, that's kind of what I'm seeing with this one. He's pretty chazzed that he got that frog, that's for sure. Alright, we're going to grab a little yellow glaze. And this is for the froggy as well. And with this, we're going to basically... So this is going on his belly here. And then it's going to go on his face, where we want to kind of call out, warm it up a little. We rinse the brush and clean some yellow off his little troll finger. There we go. Ah, son of a bitch. Alright. We ripped up some more paint, guys. I keep doing it to myself. So impatient. Alright, we're going to take some of this green. We're going to try and repair this real quick. And drop some of this green over the top of it. Alright, I'm just going to let that dry. Just stop fucking with it, Wes. Just stop fucking. What do I do with this? What did I just say? Did I just say stop fucking with it? Because I'm back to fucking with it. Alright. That's still drying. That's still drying. Everything is still drying. Except for that. Okay. So, we're going to take some of this red again. We're going to revisit that face. We're going to drop some of this crimson wash. A little bit more on the brush there. Dropping this right onto and around the eyes. Oh yeah, that's better. Under his many, many skin folds. Love them skin folds. Alright. Let's go next. What next? Alright, we're gonna take us some dark brown wash again, and we're gonna carefully try and do the wood of this little club here. I want to try, I guess if I get some, it's not the end of the world. Maybe I can figure out if I want to repaint over them, but there's like these little, they look like barnacles almost. Or maybe they're like weird mushroom like pollen sacs, or I don't know what the hell they are. But I don't know what they're supposed to be. I guess really they could be whatever I paint them to be. But the point is, I don't want to get those brown if I can avoid it. So we're trying to be relatively careful with this. If I get a little bit on there, again, not the end of the one. You can see a couple of places where I've already gotten some other color washes on them. Oops. Shit. Just painted the frog's foot brown. Alright. Yeah, alright. Actually, it looks like we're safe to go hit the belt again. So we're gonna do just that. We're gonna come in and slap another layer of black wash on the belt. Alright. So far, so good. Alright, the purple is still drying. The teal border we can hit, though. Probably means the back of it that I did teal I can also hit. Yep. Okay. That's probably going to be the last coat of that I do. I don't want it to go too dark. And then we'll do one more coat of purple over... Actually, you know what? The top is dry. So we're going to do some darker purple over the top. So it'll kind of fade from a dark purple to a lighter, like, kind of lilac, I think. In theory. Which means when this dries, I might actually put another coat of purple up closer to the top. So it's got more of a transition. Okay, cool. Let's revisit this yellow for the eyes of the frog. That eye still looks okay, but we're just going to kind of reinforce it a smidge. Sorry, I'm kind of pulling out a camera here while I hit the eyes real quick. It can be a touch on the fiddly side. I just want to make sure I'm staying accurate here. Come on. Yeah, that'll do. Looks good to me. Looks good from my house, as they say. Oh, actually, I need that same yellow for my friend Mollog's eyes as well. Now these are particularly small. See this one? Can I reach it? Fucking something else up. Come here. You know what? Let's not tempt fate. Let's try a smaller brush. This one gets a pretty fine point on it. But why take chances? We're gonna pause for a moment while we go live on Instagram again. I forget that it only goes live for like hour blocks at a time, so gotta go live twice. Effed that one up. That's right. The first one we got on our first try, so I don't mind if I screw the second one up just a little bit. As long as it's only like once. Come on. That'll do. Oh man, this guy's face. It is a face only a mother could love for sure. Oh, he is one ugly SOB. Look at this. Look at this mug. Ugh. Face is all like drooped off to one side. One eye is significantly higher than the other. He's just not a looker. I don't know how else to phrase that. ULGY. You ain't got no alibi, you ugly. Whew. Alright, well, we got our little thin brush out. Grab a little bit of this off our wet palette. Catch his little teeth. Highlight those. Okay. Oh, there we go. He's a good-looking fella, this guy. Nah. Alright. I think we're done with our thin brush for now. Set that aside. My coffee has got to be cold by now. Most definitely is. Alright, I think the initial coat of the brown wash on the club is done. So we're going to grab some more of that. We're going to go back in for a second coat. I don't see any shiny wet spots on it anymore, so we can go ahead and assume that it is pretty good to go. I rather like this technique now that I've sort of messed around with it. Just in general, but you know, for like a nice, quick, easy paint, especially, it's good. But it is nice for, I like the way wood comes out with this, particularly if you're trying for like an aged, like a dried out aged wood, as opposed to like, you know, sort of fresh wood. I don't know what the green wood, that's the term I'm looking for. But yeah, like all the when it dries, especially, you know, over that sort of like zenithal, you get a lot of gray in the brown when it dries up, and so it adds to the sort of aged quality of the wood. I rather like it. Okay. All right. I like where that's at. Frog's looking good. He still has that weird kind of blemish on his face where I tore off a bunch of the paint. We're going to hit that with a little bit more of this green. And then, while that is still wet, we'll take our green glaze. We're trying to reproduce what I did the first time. I don't know that it's going to work. I don't think it's going to work. It's not going to look good. Hello. But we're trying. We're trying some new things. I will say I think I like where his sort of skin is going here. I'm actually going back to the flesh wash here, and we're going to try kind of smoothing out some of the come on. Bottle needs to stay open. Ugh. I'm going to try smoothing out some of these sort of lower blends a little bit, adding a little bit more of this color in. So we're just kind of trying to smear this around, get some of those areas again, and just trying to even out some of the, despite my best efforts to avoid pooling, some still occurred, and hoping to kind of even some of that out. Bring some kind of uniformity to this skin a little bit. Looks pretty good, though. We got his wee little leggies. Oh, his little leggies. And his little feeties. And his little bum. He's got such a cute little butt. Look at that. His wee cute little butt. I'm glad they gave him a covering for his front bits. Realistically, they probably could have given one for his butt. I almost feel bad that that's hanging out while he's walking around. Almost. So here's where we're at. I think I've darkened his skin down too much. like it anymore. Here's what we're looking at. Just so we're all kind of on the same page here. I intended for him to be much darker in the shoulder area. And then kind of lighter as we go down. But in trying to kind of even things out on the bottom half, specifically with the bottom half, mind you, it has kind of homogenized the whole skin tone a little too much for my liking. So, how are we going to fix that, you ask? That's a good question. Well, for starters, we're going to let that dry. And once it's dry, we'll take a look at it again and see like what kind of help it needs. I'm thinking we're going to dry brush over it, is the short answer. I think with a little bit of dry brush and a soft bristled brush, we can smooth out, especially like, I don't know if you guys can see, like the top of this forearm is just real streaky. Just the way the wash kind of dried and distributed. Probably put it on too thick is basically what that boils down to. I'll try and show it up here on his forearm there, the top. It's just a little too streaky for me. So we're going to come in with some... And it's also too dark. That's the other thing. I wanted this guy to be like... He lives in a cave, right? Doesn't see a lot of sun. I imagine he's kind of on the paler side. So we're gonna try and do something with that. I think that's essentially what this guy needs, is just some highlighting right now. So while he's drying, and actually, you know, we're gonna take our teal color for those mushrooms, and we're just gonna nail those upper mushrooms again. So we're gonna just slap a second coat all over them. They're too white, and they're not blue enough. That little mushroom poking out of the top of his, I guess the bottom of his little club. He's got a bunch of mushrooms on his ribs and belly too, so I'm going to go back in and base coat those once the body's all done and dry. But I think for now we're kind of in a holding pattern while he dries a little bit. Yeah, all in all, this guy came out a little darker than I was hoping. So what do I have that I can fix that with? I'm kind of thinking too, maybe... Okay. Alright. So I'm thinking back to my squigs. And I don't want him to necessarily look exactly like the squigs, but I do want to tie in some of those squig tones. So we're going to grab our Kislev flesh, and we're going to grab our... This is the flayed one flesh. Those two colors. So once he's all dry, which he's getting there, but Not quite there yet. So maybe in the meantime, why don't we switch over here? We'll do a little story time or something while we wait. Seems like a plan. We'll finish my coffee. Because everybody needs coffee at 10:20 at night, right? All right, let's see. What can I show off in the meantime? I don't know. Oh, you know what I haven't brought onto stream? So, first of all, Instagram, you've got a better shot of this than Facebook does, and I'm not about to fiddle with Facebook cameras right now. But over here, I moved the bookcase that has a lot of my finished painted models on it. Specifically, it's a lot of the terrain stuff that is stored for my table that's behind me. But on it, I have my zombie dragon, which is this guy right here. So this is my Vampire Lord on Zombie Dragon. Let me get this lamp out of the way a little bit. So he's not done yet, but he's getting there. I've been working on this guy for a little bit. He's been kind of on a hiatus for quite some time, and I'll show him off to Instagram here too, just so everyone's getting their turn. Don't want anyone feeling neglected. But yeah, so I've been working on him on and off for quite some time now, and I put him on hold because I was having some difficulty figuring out what exactly I wanted to do with his skin. Originally, so my concept for him was that he was going to be like a well, I mean, he's a zombie dragon, so of course he's undead, but basically like a frost dragon kind of thing. Like my inspiration I was pulling from Sindragosa from World of Warcraft, which was one of the dragons that the undead dragons that Arthas the Lich King had raised. And so I tried to pull some colors from various color schemes of hers that I had seen, and for whatever reason I liked the idea that it was like had been a black dragon, and so it had like black scales, but of course it's now dead and decayed, and the life is kind of pulled out of it. So I decided to go with like gray for the scales and the skin. But the problem is, again, it was supposed to be a cold, like frost dragon kind of thing, and all the grays that I picked were very like warm, rich gray tones. Lots of like browns and stuff like that in the grays, which I guess under normal circumstances could have worked, but it just kind of wasn't the vibe I was going for the particular model, or the army in general, really. So, I had already like base coated all of the skin with this gray color. I just didn't like it. I don't know. It just wasn't what I was going for, and I didn't really know what to do with it. So I just kind of sat on it for a while and thought about it, like, you know, while I was driving around at work and just whenever. And I think I figured it out. I think I'm going to go with a desaturated blue-gray scheme, which seems like the obvious choice, right? Like, you know, you want cold colors, blue is a good choice, and blue-gray is still gray. It's just, you know, got a little bit of blue in it as opposed to a little bit of that like warm brown. And I don't know why it didn't click initially. But yeah, so anyway, that being said, I'm at some point soon here, and I'm thinking honestly that will probably be sort of like the crescendo to this army project. So I'm kind of saving it until last, sort of like a tantric painting kind of situation, getting all the little stuff done And then that way, once it's all done, I can just pour all of my attention into that one model and just make it look perfect. Or as perfect as I can make it, which is, you know, that's debatable. But yeah, so right now, excuse me, right now my focus is, well, I mean, obviously my focus is this troll that I'm painting right now, but in general, I'm trying to get through got some Night Haunt that I need to finish up, that I've got mostly done. Got that Mortis engine. That's kind of my bigger project. My goal is to get that done this week, since I've got this week off. I'm on vacation, as I said earlier. So if I can get that model finished, it will be like one of my first like sort of bigger models for the army that is like complete, and it'll look really nice, and like it'll be very fulfilling to get that done. There's a part of me that feels like I should work on that zombie dragon sooner than later, because it is like a key component in my army that I use like quite frequently. And I feel like, you know, he's in my 1,000-point list. He's in my 2,000-point list. And I just feel like, I don't know, I feel like I should rush him closer to being done, because I'm more likely to use him, and I'd like to get all of the things that I use off, and especially like painted up and done. So I might bump him up a little bit now that I think about it. Okay, so we're checking our dude here. We're checking the wash here and making sure that everything is dry, because I'm real sick of just tearing up paint at this point. He looks and feels pretty dry to me. Alright, so that being said, we are going to look for the dry brush I want. Just this one. This has been a very trusty dry brush for me. I've gotten a lot of other makeup brushes that I've been using as dry brushes, and in terms of the small ones, this is my favorite. I have some larger dry brushes, larger makeup dry brushes, and those I love for big pieces, like especially terrain. But for a model like this, for what I'm trying to do, I think this is the brush for me. Let's get... We're going to get some dry paper towel here. We are going to get just we're going to try something a little different today. We're going to put just the littlest hint of moisture into our dry brush. And then we're going to take most of it off. Alright. So we're going into our Kislev flesh. This is what we're going to be using first. So we're going to just grab a little dot of that, work that into the bristles like so. Should probably go back down to the desk. There we go. So y'all can see what I'm doing. Alright, and then we're going to be working this in little circular motions across, especially these upper areas, trying to kind of even out and catch a good chunk of these raised areas. Now this we're kind of blending up onto the sepia a little bit. Again, we don't want to undo, because I like that dark tone on that sepia. And so on the upper, let's see, can I show you this? Where are we? It's kind of a bigger model, so I'm trying to keep everything in frame. So on the upper areas, like the upper faces, I'm doing circular motions with the dry brush to try and get even the distribution Still maintaining the darker like recesses, right? But you know, I'm getting some back and forth action and trying to get all the little areas. Now on the downward areas, like on his back here, I'm only dry brushing down, and that way the light is essentially catching on the upper raised areas, and so it's going to give some nice highlighting to what we're doing. A little bit more of that. And I can already tell you right now that I like what we're doing here. I like this change. It's kind of subtle, but we're just shifting to like a lighter sort of flesh tone on this guy. And it's definitely more in keeping with my original sort of whatchamacallit, vision for him. There we go. I don't know why that was so hard for me to think of. I think his little chin, down his belly, down his legs, get his little butt. I don't know why I think it's so funny, this little bum. Let's see if we can get it on it. Look at that little butt. Look at that little butt. Here, I'll show this. Look at that. Look at his little buns. Camera doesn't want to focus on it, but try that. Yeah, look at those buns. I don't know why that's so funny to me. Anyway, I'm a child. All right. I think we're entering territory I'm quite happy with. This is where we're at currently. So we brought up his face a little bit too. You can still see the red from the nose and stuff like that. We're just kind of adding some nice highlighting in there. We're even going to pick up a little bit more of this paint. Let's throw some right in these little shouldery areas here. Again, trying to just increase the blending between the darker areas and this like lighter skin. I like where this is going, guys. I do. Suddenly this is like popping into focus for me a little bit. Alright. Oh yeah. Well, that's so much better. Cool. All right, that's it for that color. I'm happy with that. All right, now I'm not even going to bother rinsing this brush. I'm going to take our flayed one flesh. We're going to give that a little shaky shake. And we are going to proceed with this. So this is an even lighter color. And so we're going to use this, I mean, I guess fairly sparingly. Again, just kind of to pick out the high spots. This is a very, very light dry brush we're doing now. Again, just kind of getting the around the face, especially. We want to draw attention there. We'll bring all the brighter colors into that area. Oh yeah. Back. I don't know, guys. I'm pretty happy with this. Oh, you know what I'm going to do, actually? I'm going to take this, while I've got it out, I'm going to take this light color, and I'm actually going to put this over the dark spots, too. Just lightly, just to kind of try and tie everything in and add that highlight. Just so it, like, it reads as just a darker sort of complexion area, pigmentation, whatever you want to call it. But that it all kind of ties in as being roughly the same skin. And that gives them like some gnarly looking oils, sort of, on that texture. I like that a lot. I'm really happy with that, guys. Alright, here, let's try and get him. It's focusing on my face. If I hide behind him, here we go. That looks like that's in focus now. That's what we got. That's what we got so far. And like I said, I'm quite happy with where he's at. He's coming along. He's definitely more in line with what I had in mind originally. And by having that darker shading up on top of his shoulders too, it adds that sort of contrast between the bright blue, which kind of makes it pop out all the more. Okay, so there are, however, some things that we need to go back and do now. So because we have done all of this with the dry brush, I do need to bring out some of the reds on his face again. So we're going to grab our crimson wash again. Specifically, we are going to go hit that bottom lip again. We want that to be nice and red. And we're going to take a little bit off of our brush, just kind of void it in, or not void it, what's the word I'm looking for? Blot it. Blot it into the paper towels. And we're just going to kind of glaze a little bit of this back into the nose. Just trying to keep that nose looking red. Kind of taking some off on the higher areas. Bring a little highlight back into it, but it's got that nice crimsony red in all the recesses and in the sort of shadowy areas. I like that. I like it. Oh, we need to do the purple again. We need to go back to that purple on that animal pelt loincloth kind of dealio. And again, we're tucking this up in like the center and towards the tippy top. And we're just going to let that dry. So it should give us like a pretty intense purple, dark, intense purple up top. And then it kind of like fades out to like a lilac, which is exactly what it's doing. So I like it. I like it, I like it, I like it. So I think this guy is looking pretty good. We got the skin in a place I'm happy with. All right, what I'm going to do is move the lid of my wet palette. Grab this Ulthuan Gray. We're going to put some of this on our wet palette. And we are going to start painting mushrooms. And we're basically just base coating the caps of all of the mushrooms with this color. It's fairly near white, but it's a cold white. But this is going to be a good base from which to add the add that blue back in, the bright kind of bright teal. All right, we're in shot here. Good, good. I'm learning, guys. I'm getting better at this. This whole streaming thing. And also, too, since a lot of these just got dry brushed with a light skin tone, they're already a lot lighter, so it takes a little bit less base coating to, it'll probably only take about, I don't know, 1 to 2 coats, as opposed to, you know, 2, 3 coats, sometimes 4, depending on what color you're trying to base coat over. God's forbid you're trying to base coat this color over black. That's going to be like 4 or 5 coats minimum. All right. How's this looking? How's everyone doing out there? Everyone doing okay? Let me know, by the way, in the comments or chat or whatever. I did get something from Instagram, so thank you. I'm glad you think that looks crazy. It's looking good. Yeah, it's growing on me. I wasn't sure when we started this project exactly how this was going to go down. But, and I even said as much when I started the stream. I was like, look, I've been staring at this thing for about 45 minutes now, and I have no idea how I'm going to paint this. And that was not a lie. I did not know what I was going to do. I had some basic ideas for, like, little bits and pieces, little elements of it, but as a whole, no. Not a clue. I think the, like, sort of official Games Workshop paint scheme for this guy has him as, like, a kind of a bluey, purpley gray color. I'd considered trying to follow that, but then I was like, that's just not going to fit with my army. That's just not going to look right. I want him to look like just a scary subterranean nightmare creature. It's coming to take your kids away. He's going to eat them because they've been bad. Or something. Alright, those mushrooms are base coated. I kind of feel like I want to base coat this up here too. Yep, you know what? I already started. Sometimes that's how I convince myself, is I just put some paint on it and then go, haha, see, you already started, jackass. Now you gotta finish. I was not happy with the application of that on those larger mushrooms, that blue. So we're gonna sort of rebase coat everything with this lighter Ulthuan gray, blue-gray color. And this is gonna be like a 2-coater minimum. Once this is a solid base coat of this light color. I think what it was too is like I had put this mix. Normally I put it over just like white and let the blue do the talking. But this time around I had put it over like basically a dark gray. It was over like the zenithal highlight or prime or whatever. And it was it just wasn't great. I wasn't liking it. So we're gonna clean it up. We're going in and we're gonna make everything look nice. We got the skin to a point I'm happy with. So now it's a matter of going to make sure that everything else like sort of is up to that level, so to speak. And I don't mind either that, just for clarification's sake, I don't mind either that these don't have the same kind of shading as the rest of it, because theoretically they are essentially bioluminescent glowing mushrooms. So they kind of give off their own light, and as a result they wouldn't be shaded the same anyway, because that's just how light works. If you're emitting your own light, you're not going to have shadow like the rest of everything else. Which leads me to these like barnacle things. So we'll show Instagram here. I have my face behind this thing so it zooms in on the focuses on the right thing. So the barnacles on that club, or the, I don't know, spore clusters or whatever they are, I don't know how to paint them yet. I haven't quite figured that out. So I don't know, if you have any ideas, shout it out in the chat. I don't know. It's kind of frustrating not having a plan for an element of a model. Like, I don't really want them to look like barnacles, so I don't want to leave them white, you know, because he's not like a sea-dwelling creature. There's not really going to be any barnacles where he's at. This doesn't make any sense. But it does make sense for them to be like a weird fungus, right? Because he's already covered in friggin' mushrooms, so... Yeah. What do you guys? Oh, that's horrible. There we go. So, what do you guys think for those little nodules there? That fungus on the club. What do you think we should do for colors? Any ideas? I don't want to do something crazy bright because it's going to detract from the rest of the model. Like, I want to make sure that the focus of this model is still going to be in all the proper areas. So I don't want to do something like, you know, a fucking bright pink or something like that. Especially because that's not really drawn in anywhere else in the model. I've already got this purple that's just kind of chilling there. And this green frog. None of that is tied in anywhere else. So, I don't know, maybe that's like, maybe the answer lies in there somewhere. I don't know. I'm mulling it over while I work on these mushrooms. Yeah. It's a conundrum, guys. I don't know that I have a good answer for it yet. I mean, I could, I guess, do it the same color as the rest of these mushrooms. That's, I guess, like the easy answer, right? Just keep all of the fungus, like, kind of similar in color, bioluminescence, you know, that kind of thing. I mean, maybe that's the answer. Maybe it's just that simple. I'm almost afraid that that's like too boring at that point. Like, is that too much of the same? But I don't know. Kind of jamming on this playlist today, I'm not gonna lie. This was a new one I found today. Figured I'd try it out. And so far, Facebook hasn't kicked me off. And we'll see if I get any copyright claims. It's supposed to be like uncopywritten music. So in theory, it should be free game. But I feel like every non-copywritten playlist I've put on while I'm streaming ends up getting flagged sooner or later. So, a little frustrating. But they're also not my playlists. Like, I don't own the playlist or anything. It's other people's playlists. So I don't think I necessarily have a way to, like, kind of curate them and go in and like edit and say, okay, this one song got flagged, so take this off of the playlist. I don't think I can't do that, because again, that would be the easy way. Okay. Alrighty. So yeah, I'm happy enough with those base coats. Those look pretty creamy smooth to me. So, solid and creamy smooth. That's the way we like them. All right. I'm going to take a little smidge of this black wash for that pelt. Just kind of jab this up in the very center. There's like a little icon of the moon, which is going to be a bright green. So to get like the, like a bright pastel-y green color. So to maximize contrast, I'm dropping some black on the fur right around where that is, which helps to darken up the purple and really sell that effect. But at the same time, it also is just going to add some extra shading and shadow and contrast behind where that little icon sits, so that it'll be extra bright when I actually put that paint on it. Which I feel like I should do sooner than later. But there's no reason not to. He's got a few of them strewn about. Okay, so we're gonna take there. There's enough in here that I can shake it. All right, so this is just straight nilic oxide, which is how I did all the other mushrooms in this army. So we're just gonna slather this on. We're just going to slap this on, going all the way around. Trying to get a relatively even coat. It's often easier said than done with this paint, apparently. Maybe I should have slightly thinned it down or something. That just made it worse. Yeah, that may have just made it worse. Oh well. I tried. Maybe the answer is just another coat. It's kind of given the nature of this paint. It's a technical paint, and it's designed for like weathering purposes and stuff like that. It's designed to look like whatchamacallit, verdigris. And I find it has like a bunch of other good uses, and it's just a really cool color to boot. So I will slap it on other things, but it's a lot thicker. And so you end up with a problem like this where you're trying to put on a relatively thin coat and it just goes super streaky. but I can already tell you that I like that extra saturated color on it from doing like a heavy coat of it as opposed to the washes of it I had before where it was like very thinned down. So this was the right call. This was the right call. Alright, now we're going to try and tag the little shrooms on his sides. That's a real small one up there. There we go. We got it. Oh, shoot. Leave with our brush. Perfect. This pot of nilic oxide is almost empty too, because I just made that big batch of wash for my night haunt and used up most of what I had. So I picked up another pot today, but I wanted to use up the last little bits of this pot beforehand. Don't want to waste anything, you know? This nilic oxide almost drying with like a little bit of a weird grainy texture too, which is something that it does. That's not like a new, you know, or unusual phenomenon. But I find that like since I'm doing mushroom caps, like it almost adds something to it because it's like, you know, it gives it like a super fine, like little grainy, weird, shroomy texture. I don't know. Is that even like a thing? Shroomy texture? My impatience is just getting the better of me today. Alright. I'm going to go ahead and call those little mushrooms done. I'm going to have to come back in once those are like super, super dry. And probably touch up a few spots because I, once again, trying to, you know, beat the clock here. Oh man, speaking of beating the clock, we're done. This is it for the stream. I just looked at the time and boy, oh boy. That's it for Instagram. Instagram's all done. Let me, I'm trying to move to my phone with my computer mouse. Derp. Let's, just go live again. Okay. And I'll just sort of close things out. Down. Alright, we're going to move this. We're going to just bring up our closing screen. And we're going to call it a day, guys. Thank you all for joining me on this lovely hobby stream. We had a lot of fun. And hopefully you all did too. We learned some things. I learned some things about what worked for this model and what did not. And ultimately, we ended up in a place that I'm pretty darn happy with. I will go ahead and snap some quick pictures of the progress we made tonight and post those up to Instagram so that y'all can check it out. I will probably call it quits on this guy for the evening, and I'll pick it up again maybe early tomorrow or something like that, or particularly late tomorrow night. We'll see. Yeah, I think this guy will probably be finished. Will definitely be finished this weekend. Again, I'll make sure that photographs get up on socials. So keep an eye out for those. I want to urge everybody to head over to my YouTube channel, youtube.com/Wes Odinson, WESODINSON. Head over there. All of these streams, the videos get sent over there and are uploaded. So please subscribe and like if you like the videos. If you think I'm doing something interesting and fun here. You can follow me on the rest of my social media accounts, all of which are also at Wes Odinson. So Instagram and Twitter, both at Wes Odinson. Again, it's WESODINSON. Join in the fun. We'd love to have you. And you can check in on my news and work in progress stuff there. Again, YouTube gets all the VODs of the stream get posted up there. There will be some other YouTube content coming down the pipeline as well. I'm waiting on my computer upgrades and so forth, as well as some other little tidbits, but mostly the hardware. And yeah, that's it. That's all I got for tonight, guys. So again, I super appreciate y'all hanging out with me for a couple hours and giving me some of your time while I give you some of mine. And it's a little give and take like that. So anyway, until next week, take care of one another. Remember, Black Lives Matter, and we'll be seeing you. So take care. Be good.